Okay. Should be good to go. Are we good to go? Okay. Here we go. Bang. Okay. Welcome to another edition of Gen Sports Corner back at you for 7/24, 2020. And it is time for Phillies baseball, which is it's not going great at the time. Let me get this. So you're not hearing the echo. Okay, there we go. All right. So now I can see myself live. All right. So yeah, as I was saying before, welcome to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. Back at you for 7/24, 2020. A lot of sports going on today. There was a scrimmage earlier between the Sixers and the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to talk about that. It was a hell of a game. And then the game currently going on between the Phillies and the Florida Marlins. I'll talk about that real briefly. You know, we're down 5-2. We had a little hiccup in the fifth inning, and I'll get into that in more detail. But let's circle back to the Sixers. Let's talk about what went down because I liked what I saw. They look sharp, they look crisp, they look like they're ready to roll. They look like this new look lineup is might have some juice to it. So Sixers won the game 90-83. The game wasn't really that close. The score got closer in the fourth quarter when the backups came in, but the score line for this, Ja Morant had 5 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Brandon Clark, 11 points, 3 rebounds. Jonas Valanciunas had 16 points, 10 rebounds. And then for the Sixers, I really like this. It was the scoring was spread across the board. You had Ben Simmons, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 9 dimes, 3 steals in limited action. Joel Embiid, 10.6 rebounds, as well as Tobias Harris really looked sharp. 15 points, 10 rebounds, had a double double in like 22, 23 minutes, something like that. And then Josh Richardson chipped in 6 points, 3 rebounds. And he did all this in limited action. And at one point, I think they were up by like 30 almost. And for the majority of the game, going through the third quarter, they were up by 20 points. I love the passing. I love the patience. I love the lack of errors. Matisse Thybulle also had a really good game. He had a really good throwdown as well in the game. And Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons came out. He was a man on a mission. He had some things he worked on, some things that he wanted to establish early in the game, and he did that. He came out. He got had a really good steal in the paint. He had a good shot from I would say about 17 feet. Established that 17-foot shot off the backboard. Had a couple really good dimes early in the game. He had one good dime to Shake Milton, who hit a three. He had another good dime to JoJo, who hit an open three. JoJo hit two open threes. He looked really sharp. But what I really like was Ben Simmons was 1 of 2 from 3-point range. Took 2 shots, and one of them went in, set his feet, knocked it down. I love the confidence more than anything else that he had in the shot. He didn't look hesitant. He didn't look skittish or anything like that. He was just like, look, I'm going to post up here in the corner, pass me the ball. I'm going to set my feet. I'm going to knock this down. Boom. Got it done. And if he can do that every game, have 1 to 2 attempts every game, it's going to change everything in the way that people guard the Sixers. On top of having Shake Milton as a scoring option at point guard. That's big for them. That is freaking big for them. Shake Milton was able to create for himself on a couple plays in that game as well. I was really impressed with just what they were able to do. They didn't look rusty. That was what I was most impressed with. They didn't look like they had a 3 month layoff. They looked like they picked up not where they left off, but they picked up off from a point that's even farther than where they left off at. They were a team that was searching for an identity, and then fast forward to today, they look like a team that had an identity. They look like a team that knew where their scoring was going to come from in the half court when things get slowed down. They didn't look confused on offense, like they're passing the ball around just hoping for somebody to get an open shot. No, they were able to create their own shots. And that is a completely different dimension that they've added to their offense that they did not have since Jimmy Butler left, really, because Jimmy could create his own shot, but you were really lacking that this season. And I liked what I saw today out of this team. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Let me move on to the Phillies because they're currently down. Yeah, they're still down 5-2 in the top of the eighth inning. Man on first, one out for the Marlins, 1-1 count for our current reliever Davis in there right now. He's a lefty going against a righty. Aaron Nola was on the mound today. He was looking sharp through 5 innings, and then the fifth inning he gave up a it was a 1-0 game, and he gave up. Well, it might have been a 1-1 game, and he gave up a 2-run shot in the fifth inning, and that's when the wheels started to come off. He allowed another person to get the base, and then they had to take him out in the fifth inning. He really hadn't thrown a whole lot of pitches up to that point, but it was looking a little sketchy in that fifth inning, so they had to bring him out, and we ended up giving up another run in that inning, I believe. Or it might have been 3-1. Yeah, yeah. I have to go back through the game log to see exactly how they got their runs, but he did give up the 3 runs by the fifth inning, and then the fourth run, I think that base runner was also his responsibility. So he looked really good for his first time back, but he made a couple mistake pitches. He threw I think it was a knuckle curve. I can't tell if it was a knuckle curve or a changeup. He left it a little bit too much over the plate, and that guy got a piece of it and took it right to left center out of there. 2-run shot. So right now they're trying to come back. We'll see what happens. But they've been having problems with the Marlins the past, I say, 2 to 3 years. For some reason, no matter how bad and putrid the Marlins have been, we have just struggled to beat this team. It's just one of those things that are unexplainable. Similar to a lot of the games between the Eagles and now the Washington football team as we now know them over the past years. Even when Washington has been a dumpster fire, they find a way to play us tough for whatever reason. Those division rivalries, they don't necessarily follow logic, but they they bring a certain level of intensity that cannot be accounted for. So for some reason we just struggle against the Marlins. We need to fix that ASAP because this is a 60 game season. There is no time to waste. There's no time to fall behind or get into a slump. You don't want to be 10-14 after 24 games and have to make up ground. That's not a good spot to be in. You want to get ahead of the horse, so to speak, early, and you want to establish a lead over these teams in NL East because come 30 games, boom, if you're behind, that's a problem. 162 game season, that's okay. After 30 games, if you're 6 games behind, it doesn't really matter. But if you're 6 games behind with 30 games played and there's 30 games left to play, that's a serious issue. That means you have to be darn near perfect in every game down the stretch. You have to be playing 600, 700 baseball. Otherwise, you're going to be hard pressed to make the playoffs. So, it's the first game. Uh, you're playing in Philadelphia. You know how we are. We overreact regardless of the situation. Our only reaction is overreaction. But that being said, hopefully they clean up these mistakes and they get on the ball and they get it done because this is not a good start. That being said, I just wanted to give my input before it got too late. But the game's almost over. We're in the eighth inning, going into the bottom of the eighth, and Kingery was the last person out. Yeah, I think Kingery was the last out in the seventh inning. So they should be getting down to the bottom of the lineup with Quinn Jr. and Gene Segura. So we should be coming back around to the top of the lineup hopefully in this inning, but at least by the ninth inning, coming back to the top of the lineup with Reese Hoskins and Bryce Harper and JT and then McCutchen again.